Hi and welcome to this Blueberry Markets video update with me, 𝖢𝖥𝖣yi, Senior Market Analyst. In this video I'm going to take you through the week ahead. I'm going to go over some of the data out this week and some charts of interest. So going on to data then, we don't really have anything kicking off until Tuesday. We have durable goods orders from the US month on month and CB consumer confidence. And then on Wednesday we really start to kick things off. We've got CPI year on year out of Australia. Forecast showing a potential rise from 3.4% to 3.6%. If we go take a look at the RBNZ as well, we can see that they are looking to hold interest rates at 5.5%. So lots of potential movement going on in Australia and New Zealand this week. Moving back to the US, we have some GDP data and some GDP data out of Canada. And then in the US as well, we've got those unemployment claims, core PCE price index and ISM manufacturing PMIs. So lots of US dollar data this week, and it's going to be very interesting to see if we do get any kind of continuations of this sort of downside pressure that we've had on the US dollar at the moment. Now, going over onto the strength meter here, we can see that the US dollar came up into that reversal zone and did start to sort of take a little bit of a move lower there, and that is something I would particularly look for if I was looking for a reversal on that currency. I think we've got to be a little bit cautious with this move here, although obviously the US dollar is starting to kind of retreat from that key area of resistance, which we'll take a look at in a moment. The data has been relatively good, so I don't know whether this is a little bit of a false move right now, but we have to take it into consideration that the dollar strength might be leaving the market for the time being, and that we are seeing a little bit of downside. Same with the Canadian dollar as well. On the flip side of that, we've got the Australian dollar gaining strength. We've talked a lot about being buyers of Aussie Swiss, Aussie yen recently. That would have paid out very well. The yen starting to also increase in a little bit of strength as well. Going on to the US dollar index then, I'm on the daily time frame here. We can see that we got that rejection down at 103.50. This is the pullback I was talking about, and it's going to be interesting to see how the US dollar develops. I think if we look at it in just terms of technical, the market is technically making higher highs and higher lows. We did obviously breach this low in here, but we haven't had a close below that low, which suggests that maybe we're not seeing the sort of selling pressure below that previous sort of 104 low. So if we do start to see a bit of dollar strength come back in this week, we could make a move back up to the 104.50. A climb above that still sets those targets in at 106. If we do somehow break below 103.50, then I think a move down to the previous swing low of 102.75 and these highs that formed in January will be something of interest for the market. But again, going to take that a little bit of context there. The dollar strength I still feel is still about, so I am still cautious on looking to short dollar too aggressively at the moment. That brings me to Aussie US dollar. So obviously the Australian dollar has been getting stronger, and the dollar has started to fall a little bit, but look at the price action here, very sort of range bound at the moment. I like the fact that we've come from the lows here where we kind of formed a low back in November and we rallied onto the upside. Buyers step back in again, but we're kind of struggling again towards 65.50, and I think what we need to wait for here is some kind of clear direction from the market. If that dollar strength does pull through and we get a solid close below 65.50, that could initiate some selling pressure down towards these lows. If we hold above 65.50, is that going to lead to a move towards 0.6625s? Breakout of that could see a little bit of a higher movement. So I'll be interested to see how Aussie US dollar plays out this week. We could probably target the Australian dollar against those weaker currencies going into this week. Maybe Aussie CAD could be something to take into consideration. Going on to cable then, highlighting cable because we're in a trading range. Trading range is really easy to kind of pick out at the moment between that sort of 128 area and 125.25. In the middle of that range at the moment, so this is a bit of a do nothing area for me at the minute. But if we did kind of breach higher up into 1.28, is that an area where sellers are going to start to come back into the market again? Vice versa, if we drop back to 1.2525, is that an area where buyers come in? This is a little bit of a tricky spot actually for cable. holding below 1.27 at the minute. So I think if we start to kind of look left, obviously there's all this kind of price action in here. So, you know, a close above that price may want to seek the sort of highs of the consolidation. So I think intraday plays are going to be quite tricky this week on cable. So if you are a cable trader, be a little bit aware of that. Going on to dollar yen then, so obviously yen very weak. We started to see a little bit of strength come in last week. We've actually had an inside week last week, closing back within the previous week's range. We are still above that key resistance of 149.70, so now resistance turns to support, and we're holding above that level at the minute. I still like the idea of price going to target these November highs through here, so I still like the idea of potentially seeing a move up towards that area there, around about that 150.80 zone, but it's just kind of keeping an eye on dollar yen at the moment. I like the idea of longs here, but if that dollar is going to start to weaken a little bit, could see dollar yen move a little bit sideways going into this week. That's all I've got for you this week. I hope you enjoyed this video update. Hope you have a great trading week as well. If you are new, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next video.